Ladies and gentlemen, this is an extremely important video. The game has changed. Crafting magic items is now worth your time. Today I'm going to teach you how to effectively craft them and why you should craft them. Welcome to Pack Tactics, where I've been promoting scribing for many years. And I'm thrilled to have new crafting rules that's actually worth investing in, and finally marshals have something to do. This is super exciting stuff. This is an early copy of the DMG, and I'm under NDA, so I'm not allowed to show direct screenshots, but I'm allowed to talk about them and recreate them for you. I'm gonna show off everything, so here we go. You first need Arcana proficiency. You can get that from custom background or whatever. Getting it is really easy. Second is you need an appropriate tool proficiency for what you want to create. Tools are more useful now for crafting. For example, let's say you are a melee rogue. You want to get magic weapons as soon as possible. Not only for yourself, but also for the party as well. Steve is playing a barbarian. The tool proficiency you need is smith's tools. Why is magic weapons so important for marshals? Well, most of them have no way to bypass resistances or immunities, if that appears in play. Any caster can do this at level 1. They just cast something different. Oh, Ray of Frost instead of Firebolt. Obviously, you want to fix that as soon as possible. DMs are very random. So what weapons are the easiest to craft? It's the common magic item, like Moon Touch Sword or Silvered Weapon. To create one of these weapons, it takes 5 days and it costs 50 gold. With a brutal DM, that's a good deal. That's 40 hours. A work day is 8 hours. They don't need to be consecutive, so if you're short resting, you can work on the item for an hour. Crafting does not interrupt the short rest. Look at the bullet points. You can also craft while traveling in a cart. You just sit there and work. There's a lot of ways to squeeze in hours here and there. Oh, you're waiting for something or someone. Craft. The adventuring day ends early? Okay, craft. One of the players is rest casting where they need an extra hour or more before adventuring? Crafts. Downtime day? That one is easy. There you can squeeze in 16 hours of work. If I had 2 days of downtime, I would push it and work on crafting for 32 hours straight and get a level of exhaustion. That means I only have 8 hours left of crafting. Easy. Exhaustion does not affect your crafting. You don't need to roll anything, you just work your hours. By the way, this rule comes from Xanathar's. I couldn't find it in the new player's handbook. If I have more than 2 days of downtime and succeed on the save, then I will push it to more extremes. Now let's optimize a little. Elf has trance feature. They only need 4 hours of sleep to get a long rest. As soon as you wake up, you just craft for 4 hours while the party is asleep. Maybe you can push it for longer if they're rest casting. Then there's gritty realism games. It takes a week just to long rest. It takes a day to short rest. Crafting and printing scrolls is super duper easy in those games. I don't need to say much. Obviously, majority of the time for most tables, it's gonna take a few sessions before you get the magic weapon. Oh no, Gundren Rockseeker got kidnapped by goblins. There's time pressure. You can only squeeze in a few hours every day. But that's better than producing nothing in my opinion. If you stay on top of it, you will get it in a few sessions. If you happen to get a magic item like say a weapon of warning that's clearly better than what you're producing, and you're close to finishing the item, then finish the item anyways. Maybe a party member can use it, or you can sell it. I don't think you'll lose money if you sell it. To speed up the crafting process even more, yeah, I'm not done yet. You can have someone assist you in crafting the item, but they need to have the same 2 proficiencies as you do, which is Arcana and Smith's tools in this case. This divides the time needed to create the item by the number of characters working on it. Normally only one person can assist you, but the DM can allow more. Steve the Barbarian, who I mentioned before, can potentially help you. That means the crafting of the common weapon will only take 2.5 days. That's 20 hours. Another thing you can do is hire a skilled hireling to help you craft the item. That could be like a dwarf blacksmith who has Arcana proficiency. I think if you do that, the hireling will ask for more money per day, 100% of the time, but the price might be worth it. You're probably not hiring them for very long either. In this example, it's only 2.5 days. Can't find the person you're looking for? Okay, hire a hireling that's an investigator with proficiency proficiency investigation. They will find somebody with proficiency in Arcana and Smith's tools for you, be it in this town or the next town. Tabletop Freedom is super fun. If that investigator asks for more than 2 gold, holy crap, he's not getting paid. This to me is such a simple job. You also need raw materials. This is where the DM fiat actually comes in. There's a 75% chance you'll find the materials you need in a city, 25% in settlements. If there's no materials, then you have to wait 7 days to look again. Obviously, there's more ways to find material, like maybe treasure, but this is what the book says. You probably won't be able to craft anything in games like Curse of Strahd, but most games aren't like that. If the magic item incorporates an item that has a purchase cost, like this scimitar for example, it's 25 gold, you must pay that entire cost. You can craft it while crafting the magic item, but I don't recommend you do that because it adds 8 or more hours, even when it's something small like a dagger. We don't want that. Everything I just went through is all of the basics. As you can see here, you can craft other rarities too. Uncommon is only 10 days. That's 80 hours for 200 gold. When I'm going to be crafting from now on, that's what I'm aiming for every time. I don't recommend crafting anything higher than uncommon unless you have a lot of downtime using Bastion or hired hirelings to do the job. Or you have like a ton of potions of watchful rest. But Kobold, why did you bring up common magic items if you're going for uncommon every time? They're faster to produce and they're cheaper. There are actual parties out there that legitimately barely make any money. So this is the best option for them. It's 50 gold. Come on, that's barely anything. By the way, and this is actually related to this book, I want you to hear me out. This video is sponsored by World Anvil, which is an incredibly powerful tool for dungeon masters. And it's actually perfect for this book. Here's why. Chapter 4 and 5, which are adventures and campaign setting chapters, now take place in Greyhawk. The free city of Greyhawk is this book's main hub area where you will get all of your quests and adventures. The book gives you ideas on what's going on in the city and stuff to do there, but I wouldn't say their map is detailed. The book wants you to do work, to teach you how to create things. Makes sense, right? Now, doing this isn't hard, like it gives you good advice. The problem is it takes a lot of time, and it's actually a big task. But that's where World Anvil comes in handy. Like, look what I found on World Anvil. This is the free city of Greyhawk. Someone made a page about this. And it's like Google Maps. This is super useful. You can press on the places of interest and read about it and detail even more stuff in your own campaign. Boom, easy. I'm linking this in the description because it's going to be handy with this book. Also, if I do cover chapter 4 and 5, I will bring this up again. This is super duper useful. I actually plan on using this in the future too. I highly recommend checking out World Anvil, especially if you want to create your own world settings. Or hey, your own version of Greyhawk. Use the code PACK at the checkout and you'll get a 51% off any yearly subscription. Back to the video. When you're buying the raw material, there is a chance you'll just find a common magic weapon at the shop. It says, common magic items are often bought in a town or city. Uncommon and rare magic items are usually found only in cities. And rarer magic items might be sold in wondrous locations, such as City of Brass or Sigil. I don't think DMs are gonna follow this price tag or this general rule with like where to find these things. But it's nice that it's here at least for reference. The book says the common item is usually around 100 gold price tag. If I'm playing a level 2 martial and I see one available, then I will buy the common magic weapon. If I can't afford it, then I'll ask a party member if we can pool the money together, and I'll owe them later. Come on, it's 100 gold. Anyways, uncommon magic weapons with smith's tools. There's enspelled weapons. That's new. I talked about that in the new magic items video. Basically, you can put a single spell in the weapon that has to be from the conjuration, divination, evocation, necromancy, or transmutation schools of magic. When you do so, you have 6 charges to cast that spell. It recharges 1d6 charges daily at dawn. To craft a magic item that has a spell in it, you need to have the spell prepared before crafting it. So this bars most martials unless they're multi-classed or have magic initiates. By the way, in the previous video, I made a mistake with the prerequisite for Enspelled Weapon. It's supposed to say weapon, any simple or martial, rarity varies, requires attunement. What you're looking at now is correct. Sorry about that. Other uncommon magic weapons are Dragon's Wrath weapons and Weapons of Warning. Those two are my favorites. Weapon of Warning is good on anyone really, especially on a full caster because all of your friends within 30 feet of you get advantage on initiative. Yeah, Weapon of Warning got boosted. This is huge. Speaking of casters, once you're done making a weapon for yourself, you can try to help the casters. Like if there's a druid in the party, you can craft a moonsicle for them. That makes their spells and healing more powerful. You don't need to know any spells to craft that item. I hope you're starting to see the potential here for martials, and so far I've only touched on crafting weapons. What about armor with smith's tools? Adamantine armor, pretty obvious. Sentinel shield gives you advantage on initiative and doesn't need attunement. You can enspell shield spell in the enspelled armor. You can put sanctuary in the armor, or shield of faith. You get the point. There's tons of strong options here you can go for. I find that super duper cool. Let's move on to potion crafting. I think this one's going to be really popular with monks, especially mercy monks, because it fits the theme of the subclass. Also, you get to roleplay the potion seller. You can't handle my strongest potions. You still need Arcana proficiency, that's with everything, but you also need alchemist supplies or herbalism kit proficiency. Crafting a potion like a potion of resistance, which is an uncommon magic item, takes 5 days and costs 100 gold. That's 40 hours. Here at the bottom it says the time and cost are halved for a consumable item other than a spell scroll. Just like weapons and armor, lots of options. Potion of growth makes you enlarge from the enlarge reduce spell for 10 minutes. No concentration. That's a damage increase. Then there's regular or greater healing potions. Very obvious stuff. Potion of Resistance is awesome, especially in dragon campaigns. Oh, we're fighting red dragons in the future? Well, you know exactly what to make. That resistance lasts for an hour, which is more than enough time to kill the dragon, or even crawl through the dungeon. Potion of Watchful Rest, I talked about it before. That's a common one that takes 2.5 days to make for 25 gold. Oil of Slipperiness, that's an uncommon potion. Affected creatures gain the effects of Freedom of Movement spell for 8 hours. That means you're unaffected by difficult terrain and spells that reduce speed. You're also immune to paralysis and restrained. That's a 4th level spell, by the way. Insanely powerful. It lasts basically all day. Potion of Hill Giant Strength, that's 21 strength for an hour. And finally, the new potion, Potion of Pugilism. Drinking it makes it so you do an extra 1d6 force damage on a hit, and it lasts for 10 minutes. That's a long time, and it's not concentration or anything. Also, the potion tastes like spinach. It's a Popeye reference. With Flurry, this increases your average damage by 9.8. That's taking crits and accuracy into account. You use these potions when you're about to go into a hard fight or a dungeon crawl. Very simple. Next, staff, wands, and rods. This is caster stuff, and these are usually the best magic items in the whole game. You need woodcarver's tools proficiency to make these. Here's something that caught me by surprise. Wands got nerfed, like for example, Wand of Magic Missile. You can only expend up to 3 charges at once rather than all of them like you could before. The submachine gun is now a burst pistol, I guess. I don't know enough about guns, but still though, they're always worth crafting because it doesn't require attunement and anyone can use it. A fine familiar can use it. The pet kobold can use it. The kobold plushie can use it. A hireling can use it. A melee martial can use it in the flying dragon fights, which is actually super handy. You should arm everyone you can with these. You gotta be American about this. Wanda Web got the biggest nerf in my opinion. Instead of DC 15, it's now 13, which is super painful. But it's still useful. It's causing difficult terrain with a lot of charges. And there's a chance they might actually fail. I'll definitely craft it. 7 charges is a lot. That's That's just some of the wand nerfs. For the rest, it's either they nerf the DC or they nerf the expended charges. Rod of the Pact Keeper. This is a mandatory item for warlocks because not only does it make their attack and DC better, but also they can use a magic action to regain a pact slot once per long rest. This is awesome on a level 5 warlock. They get to cast more Hypnotic Pattern. If it's a fiend warlock, that's more fireball slots. In Spelled Staff, unlike in Spelled Weapons or Armor, staffs can have any school of magic in it. This can be a heal staff of Cure Wounds. Clearly that's better than healing potions. I mean, come on, it recharges. It could be a Staff of Shield, Staff of Sanctuary, whatever you want really. I think that's super duper cool. You get the point. Lastly, wondrous magic items. I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but this is where you can craft the most broken magic items, and you have the most options. You need Tinker's tools to create these. Let's start with the most obvious one, Broom of Flying. Fly up, shoot down, default kill. Also 50-foot fly speed, insanely fast. You can probably craft this with Woodcarver proficiency, but you gotta talk to your DM. I usually ban Broom of Flying. I really don't like this item. If Ravnica is allowed, Misium Apparatus is the funniest magic item you can craft. This is one of the only magic items in the whole game where it dramatically changes your build. I made a video about it, link in the description. I think it's worth your time because of how unique it is. Next, Ever Smoking Bottle. This is for games that use flanking or pack tactics feature pops up a lot. It just makes everything an even playing field with heavily obscured. Everyone has advantage and disadvantage at the same time, which means everyone rolls attack normally. Pipes of Haunting. No attunement, 3 charges, 30-foot AoE, anyone can use. It causes the Frighten condition for 1 minute. The DC is a 15 Wisdom save. Enemies make a repeat save at the end of their turn, but still, fantastic item. It's insanely good at shutdown, but be warned though, if your friends are nearby, it can affect them. Keep that in mind. Bag of Holding, it's for storage. Or if you have many of them, putting a bag in the other bag can create a Bag of Holding bomb. This is a classic to get rid of super monsters like Tiamat or even the Tarask. You send familiars to do the job. This is a no-save black hole. There's nothing they can do. Talking Doll. This is a common magic item with attunements. Now, first reading you might think this is useless, but it's actually a crazy strong detector. It can detect secret doors, compartments, or illusions within 5 feet. It will yell, "Illusion ahead!" It can even detect lies. "Liar, liar, pants on fire!" This is insanely good to sweep dungeons with. Or if you're playing in a detective game, this is a perfect item. This is a must-have. I can go on and on and on. I highly recommend you look into this yourself. What I mean by that is you can look at the other books. The DMG isn't out yet currently. There's so much potential here and they can be very fun. It's also just fun to surf magic items in general. Make an Enspelled Staff and put a spell in it. Pimp out your wizard and have a blast. I really think you should craft magic items or scribe scrolls. Always produce something. It's absolutely better than doing nothing. End of video. I hope I earned a like, comment, and maybe a subscription. Don't forget to check out World Anvil. And don't forget to craft magic items. That's really important. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.